What are all these people doing looking at us, Matt?
Welcome to Get Shirty, the podcast where we ask our guests about the things in life that just never fail to irritate and get them all shirty. The chat focuses on home, work and going out, but could go anywhere. And it's not all doom and gloom, as each guest gets a made-to-measure shirt which they design, so we talk about that too. Funny that, us being tailors. Welcome to the Get Shirty Podcast. Now this is the first episode of season 2, or if you're counting from the beginning, this is episode 13 of the official episodes. And what's special about this episode is it's our very first live podcast. This was recorded live in front of an audience as part of the Tunbridge Wells Fringe Festival, and it was recorded at the old auction house in Tunbridge Wells, and it was with our very special guest, Matt Riley. Now, Matt Riley is famously known for being on the Great British Bake Off, but as well as that, Matt is also an artist, he's also a writer, and by day and night, he's also a fireman. It was really great for him to come down and be our guest. So, here we go then. 1 guest, 2 mics, 3 tailors, a live audience, and a host of irritations. Let's get shirty.
Was this your idea? It wasn't actually, was it?
It wasn't, no.
Please put your hands together. Give a little round of applause for Matt Riley from the Great British Bake Off. And I was meant to talk for a little bit longer, I think, there. But so, Matt Riley, everybody, put your hands together. Andrew, keep going. So, we'll have a little chat with Matt. Thank you all for coming along today. And thank you especially to you, Matt, for coming along too. And I will just like to say that the person who started this music, who did this music for us, is also in the room. Dat Hazard's over there. Put your hand up. So our wonderful theme tune was produced by Harry there, a professional named Dat Hazard. So, hey, look, and that's the wonders of doing something live, isn't it? So, Matt, welcome to the Get Shirty Podcast. Have you ever done a live podcast before?
I've never done a live podcast before.
No, me either.
I've been live interviewed, though, by my wife, so I imagine this will be more gentle. I don't know, potentially more gentle than she was.
Let's see. I hope so. We like to put our guests at ease. I think we're relative. Well, we've got a previous guest with us over there. Hello, Gary. How were we gentle with you?
Yes. And lovely applause.
Oh, we did give you applause.
Yeah.
I know. You sort of got it as you walked into the shop before, didn't you? Yeah. But I suppose being interviewed by your wife, I mean, in a venue, that's just sort of, you only had to record it, and then it was a podcast, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. It was so. There was an audience, which is fine, but also her parents. So the in-laws were there. Right. So it changes the dynamic a little bit, I think.
Yeah, that's
being interviewed by your wife in front of her parents.
So you were on best behaviour whilst also feeling quite relaxed.
Yeah, not so relaxed, but yeah, best behaviour for sure. I think they're pretty used to me.
Yeah.
Now we've been married 11 years nearly. But the questions she chose, I don't think were necessarily questions that her parents wanted to hear the answer to. I think that was a sort of her point, you know. She wanted to really Paxman.
Oh, really in depth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah. No, we won't do that. Let's see where the conversation goes. Yeah, you never know. So, also up on the stage here, something I was meant to say in the intro, but also up on stage, we have the other members of the Get Shirty podcast team. So, we have Stuart here. There he is. Always have a cool, round of applause for Stuart. So Stuart, not only does Stuart work at Hardman and Hemming, the sort of birthplace of the podcast, but he also edits and produces the podcast as well. So when I'm fumbling and making all the mistakes, Stu cuts all those out and makes me sound better, which is good, which is what he'll do for this. So when it goes out in September...
I won't be in it at all.
Yeah. It would just be me monologuing like some sort of supervillain from... but also up on the stage we've got Sam as well. And Sam also works at Hardman and Hemming, but really from a podcast point of view, you sort of keep us on track. And very rarely says anything. At the occasional snidey remark, which is always appreciated, and make sure that everybody signs the shirt. So the shirt up on stage you can see here has been signed by everybody who has been on the podcast. So that's good. So anyway, that's enough of mine. So, as the intro says, the idea behind the podcast is to talk about tailoring a little bit, but really we sort of put that to one side, but also to talk about the things in life that get us shirty. So, and what I like to think of as the Mars bar trifecta, the work, rest and play.
Yeah.
Is how we look at it. If anybody, there's a few people in here who won't remember the Mars bar adverts. I know,
I'm on it.
Yeah. I thought they were quite recent, those adverts, until I looked it up. They're really not.
Do you remember the words to the Milky Way advert with the red car and the blue car?
Do you know, I don't.
Oh.
Well, I could make... Well, it sounds like you do.
I do.
Feel free. Set yourself up for that one. Yeah, come on.
Oh, do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Does anyone else remember it?
I remember the start. The red car and the blue car.
Had a race, but all Red wants to do is stuff his face. He eats everything he sees, from trucks to prickly trees. But poor old Blue, he took the Milky Way. That's the advert, the Milky Way.
Yeah, I remember
there we go.
He falls in the ravine.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I do remember that.
See?
Yes, that's pretty good, actually.
I'm glad I sang that early on.
Do you know, something that, we are, because I think nearly every guest has sung.
Oh, really?
Bizarrely, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to listen back to yours, but I'm pretty sure every guest that we've had has sung from, even if it was just a little bit. We had Mike sang the whole French national anthem.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, it was quite impressive.
Is he French?
No.
Oh, okay. No. Even more impressive.
So
impressive if he used French.
Yeah. But it's not the only anthem we sang. Anyway, go back and listen to that. This tonight's about you. So let's start with work.
Yes.
Get Shirties. Now, for those who don't know what you do, you are...
I am a firefighter.
Firefighter is their sort of day job.
That is my day job and night job, day and night job. Yeah.
Right.
I've been doing it since 2011. Mm-hmm. I joined. There's two different types of firefighting.
Okay.
There's like the whole time firefighting, where you're at the fire station, you work there, you sleep there, you're there all the time.
Yeah.
And then there's retained or on call. So I started on call first.
Right.
In East Sussex in 2008, and then I went to London.
Yeah.
For the big smoke.
The big smoke.
Literally.
And it was during that time that you went on Bake Off.
So yeah, that was when I Do you know? So you used to do 4 days on, 4 days off. That was the traditional firefighter shift pattern. So it just gave me time to start baking things, and that's where that led to. But so there we go. There's a picture there of me in London when I was young and fresh.
Turn your cooker off.
There we
Just
go.
remember that.
Yeah, and that was when we had
the
black uniform. That was the best one.
Was that the sexier of the uniforms?
That is, and also very slimming.
Oh yeah, because what is it, yellow?
It's yellow now. Yeah, it's not so good now.
It's not quite bedroom colour, is it, yellow? Well, could be wrong. Anybody here like the yellow for the bedroom colour?
No, unanimous.
No. I purposefully didn't look at my children in the audience there. So you started baking there. Yeah. And so is there anything about being a fireman that is like, they're the things that get me shirty about this job?
So the sort of best and the worst bits of being in the fire brigade is you see people at those two things. You see people that they're generally, if they're calling 999, something bad's happened, right? Yeah. And they want your help. And those people, I will happily give my help to.
Of course.
There are other people who phone 999 because they're pissed and they don't know where their house keys are, and they want us to get in their house. We used to get that a lot in London. So they go,
right, okay.
so they phone up and they go, yeah, I've left my gas on.
Yeah.
Or need my medication, it's in the... So we turn up and go, so your gas is on? And they go, yeah. Can you get in? And you go, yeah, we'll smash your door down with this enforcer. And they go, oh, I thought you'd just be able to get in the door. And you go, no, you wanted a locksmith.
Locksmith, right.
We're the fire brigade, and if there's an oven on in there, we need to get... Oh, no, I didn't think you were going to break my door down.
Right.
I don't know what you thought I was going to do then.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're pissed. And
yeah. They probably thought you were going to give them like a little leg up.
Yeah, they just thought we had
like, you know, in through the fanlight window.
A couple of old like hairpins that you were going to pick their lock with. But so yeah,
like
that's
Fagin.
Yeah. But so that I'm not, you know, that's not so fun.
No.
But yeah, I mean, generally people are really good, or really thankful that you're there.
Yeah, yeah.
But we had a woman last month who said, we got called out, it was a long way away. I won't say where it is because it was round here.
Right.
But we went a long way to her house.
Sam.
No, it wasn't. And then she got there, and so you're driving on like blue lights. I mean, it's quite a dangerous thing, isn't it? Driving a fire engine through towns and villages, and people are getting out your way.
I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of like for other people, you know, you could have an accident doing that. And then we got there, and she went, "Oh, well, my alarm's gone off. It's nothing. But at least we stopped you. At least I got you out from drinking tea all afternoon."
Oh, right.
That attitude got me quite shirty.
Yeah.
Because there's other things we could be doing, like, you know.
I mean, you were drinking tea.
I was drinking tea, yeah, granted.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's...
I was always drinking tea.
Yeah, that's a given. But, yeah, so there's people who aren't overly thankful that you go there.
Yeah, it's a bit... It's strange, that, isn't it? You know, it's like that... The thought that that's okay for me to do that. You know, that's something that I can just do because my desire for it sort of justifies the need. And like, I mean, is that a get shirty, or is that like actually about 10 stages above it?
I don't know. Like it is very much part of the job. We've had it similarly. I met a Rembrandt in London where the guy's toilet had flooded, and it was just water was coming out everywhere, and. It was quite a scene. We turned up. He was topless with a broken arm, and there was loads of people in his front garden. And he went, "I probably shouldn't have phoned you. I probably should have phoned a plumber, shouldn't I?" And I went, "Yeah, you should have, really." And we went in his house, and then we turned his mains to his water off to his house because the toilet was, you know, just going everywhere. And he went, "Well, I haven't got any water now." We went, "No, you haven't. But we also aren't plumbers, but we can turn the water off to your house." And he went, "Well, if I've got to phone my landlord, can I borrow your phone?" And I went,
Really?
"What do you mean?" And he at the point, so he had, I can picture him, topless, arm in a sling, bottle of white wine. He had, and he went, "Can I borrow your phone? I've got no minutes on my phone."
Right.
And I went, "No, you can't borrow my phone." And those sort of people.
Yeah.
And it's an absolute, you sort my shit out
Yeah. Yeah.
and phone my landlord for me.
Yeah. So
But then, you know, you also similarly go to other people who are so desperately need your help, and they're so thankful, you know, and you know, they're the minority.
They're the ones who don't turn you into a giant sort of telephone box with flashing lights that rushes through the street for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah, see, I think for me that would push me beyond the get shirty.
What's above shirty?
Well, this is something we've talked about quite a lot. That's sort of irked, slightly irritated, and then you're sort of getting, because get shirty sort of somewhere slightly. It's above miffed. I don't know. Would we say get shirty's above miffed, but below annoying?
Tetchy.
Yeah, it's get shirty, tetchy. Are we putting those at the same thing? Getting a cob on, yeah, that could be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I did say one below texture.
one below tetchy. Yeah,
Okay.
that could be the thing, couldn't it?
You did promise Deborah to bring that up about this.
How is the arm, Stu?
How is it?
Yeah, is it all right now?
How's the toilet? Is it still leaking?
And have you topped up your phone? Yes. Yeah, good. Excellent. Good. Oh yeah. So look, I think that's sort of fairly. I think they're understandable. Get shirties, really.
So
What about the other side of what you do? You know, like baking. Really, that's your job too.
I'd say in a weird way that I find that more stressful than
being
potentially
fun.
going into a burning building. Yeah,
Really.
Oh, it's awful, isn't it? Baking, like it's genuinely.
It can be quite stressful.
It's a bloody nightmare.
I couldn't work out whether to bring it up or not, but is this the point where we bring up the royal icing incident?
I mean, yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. And
how much have you talked about that?
A lot.
Does everybody know about the royal icing incident?
So what happened was...
Yeah, please, do enlighten us,
I'll tell you what I did, and then I'll tell you the reason I did it.
Right.
So I baked some royal icing. And if you're not into baking...
What, on national television, by any chance?
You know, still, right? So what happened, it was a technical challenge, one in Bake Off. If you haven't watched Bake Off, what it is, you get this technical challenge. You've got a gingham sheet and you have to lift it up and there's
shroud.
You've got to then bake what it says underneath it. And it's usually something weird and obscure that you've never heard of or made in your life. So everyone's on a level playing field. Yeah. This particular one, I think it's Victorian week, was a tennis cake. So it's got to be like a fruit cake with a tennis court on top. Yeah. And it said, and I did all that bit and I made the cake, which I'd also like to point out was shit as well. Like, the cake was worse than the bit that they really focused on, which is fine. That's editing, isn't it? It made it dramatic. So I made the cake, and then it said make the royal icing, and I didn't know what royal icing was, right? Yeah. Now, there's loads of things I don't. I was never a baker. I was a firefighter who accidentally ended up on Bake Off. Right. So it said make royal icing. So I did it, and I was looking around, and people were like rolling out royal icing. And I had like a liquid, like a green, it's meant to be look like the lawn of a tennis court. I had this like slime. It's like, this isn't the same as what everyone else is doing. But I carried on, I persevered and did it. And then that was really, I was trying to like spread it on like butter as opposed to like cut it out and place it on top. And then it said make the net and make some tennis rackets. And then the next thing I looked down was bake for whatever. So in my haste of trying to get everything done, because you've got a time limit, I just saw those two things together, put it in the oven, and it turns out you don't bake royal icing, right? Which I didn't know, and obviously it's a really lovely clip of me and Nadia, her realising that. But what they also don't show is my net and tennis racket stood up.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I was in front of the curve and I'd baked it. Right. No one else had thought I'd know how to
make it sturdy enough to do the job.
I think it is a matter of time before more royal icing is baked. But the cake was shit and it looked really dreadful. Yeah, I think Paul Hollywood said it looked like the tennis court from Hades, which was,
And so, is it they do their bit and then walk off and then you don't really see them for the rest of the day? Or are they are they kind of around and interact?
So, yeah, a little bit of both, really. I think there'd been criticism previously of them being around too much. So by the time, I think I was on series 5 or 6. Yeah. 6. So they did very much come in, talk to you.
Right.
Judge you and then leave.
Okay. Because it was Mary then,
yeah, it was Mary. Well? So I spoke to Mary a lot more. She was quite interested in like smoke alarms.
Right.
And how many smoke alarms she should have in a house. So that was like a regular chat.
Yeah.
Funny
that didn't make it on the show.
Weird, isn't it? Because it's really sexy talk, isn't it? Fire alarms. But yeah, he came in, does his bit and go. But I was there with Mel Sue, so the original BBC one, and they were around the whole time.
Right, okay.
But quite a lot of the time, so I do my baking really quickly, and this again won't surprise you. I do my really quickly, and then sit at the front and drink tea, because it turns out you can get tea all the time.
Yeah.
They go, anything you need? Yeah. Can I get another cup of tea? So I just sat down a lot because some bits, I think we were in a tent on one of the weeks for 15 hours.
Right, okay.
By the time you've done stuff, and look at that.
There he is.
Perfect. Oh, young there.
So handsome. I think if anything, you've got more handsome.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I say that to all the guests.
Yeah. But it's a long time. You're doing a lot of stuff, and there's bits that are like bake for an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of waiting around.
And is it so? The things that, if we've got time, we'll do a quick Q&A at the end. So think of some questions. But if anybody's for me, the thing, I look at a program like that and I think, how manufactured is it? Is it like you've got an hour, but actually you've got an hour and a half, but 20 minutes of that is being interviewed about the thing you're doing, or is it it's a hard, fast hour, and
Yeah,
that's what you get.
absolutely. So I think they work it out, and they'll go, this cake takes 4 hours to make. We'll give them 3.5 hours, because it is
Right.
ridiculous
Yeah.
how little amount of time you've got.
Yeah.
And then they'll come over and go, oh, tell us about how much lemon you're putting in your Madeira cake.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing a northern accent. I suppose that's Paul Ollie was northern, isn't he?
I don't know. You keep doing it. I like it. Yeah, carry on.
So yeah, you really sort of run out of time really quickly.
Right, okay.
But then, so they really do stick to it.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's really.
So,
And
is the interview annoying? Do you just want them to go away, or?
The first couple of weeks,
Yeah.
it's all very exciting, and
Yeah.
because they're going around everyone's counter, and you're like, oh, coming up here, they come next, and excited, yeah. And after, maybe like week 4 onwards, you're like, I've got time for this, Paul. Mary, I recommend a smoke alarm in each room. Let's move on.
Let's go. I've baked you a smoke alarm. Just go away. Right. Okay. See, that's interesting, because you always sort of think, oh, there's a little leeway.
No.
I suppose it's the. Did you watch the James Acaster one? The celebrity. He had a proper sort of meltdown during.
Yeah,
He's done a whole stand-up routine.
I know. I saw it.
about
I saw it at Tunbridge Wells. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did it. But
I
think he genuinely did.
Yeah.
Have a breakdown.
Baked a cake.
Yeah, had a breakdown.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Yeah. But it is.
Is it?
It is weird. Like, it's weirdly. So yeah, first week I found really stressful because I'm an absolute fraud of being there.
Right.
So I was on with a girl called Flora, who
Right.
was I think she was like 21 at the time. And when we first met in the hotel, so the day before we started filming, everyone meets for the first time and everyone's overly polite, and she was showing me photos on her phone of things she'd baked, and she's like, oh, that's blah blah, and that's filled with, I don't know, like a frangipane or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And I said, oh, what's frangipane? And she laughed, went, oh, you're so funny. And then 7 weeks later, when I was still there, she went, I now know that you didn't know what frangipane. How are you here? And I was like, I don't know. And it was because I think after week 1, when someone did worse than me, and that's all you got to do, innit? Just not be the worst.
Yeah.
After week 1, it's like, that's all right. And then week 2, you sort of go, okay, that was fine. If I go now, that's not dreadful, is it?
Yeah.
And then, is it really? It is stressful, but like at work, if something goes wrong, people die. I could die.
Yeah.
People die. That's. But people do die. If it goes wrong in a tent.
Yeah.
In Newbury, just someone has a shit cake. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's stressful. But is it really that bad?
It's a bit shirty, really, isn't it?
It is. It's just a bit. Oh God, you know. Yeah, they edited that one.
And put it in the oven.
No one bakes their shit nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is stressful because you're getting filmed, and you don't want to look a complete wally on telly. But until you bake your ice in, and that's a clip forever.
But the thing is, it's those sorts of things that's, really, you don't want to watch everybody do a fantastic cake. You don't want everybody to be brilliant. You want there to, as soon as something starts going wrong, do you see like the cameramen start circling like sharks?
Absolutely, yeah. So I probably shouldn't say this because Bake Off will be getting filmed at the moment, I'm sure, or finished, ready to come out. So they go, in terms of you're talking about time, they'll say, if you're going to put something in the oven, let us know, give us a little wave, and we'll come over and we'll film it going in, because they want to see that, it goes in, it's a nice shot in it. And then give us a wave when you're going to get something out of the oven, and then we can film that, and if it looks good, and you're going, oh Christ, I burnt that, or whatever. So yeah, week 1, hello, cameraman, they'll come over and they'll film it, that's lovely. After week 2, you're like, I got time to wait for you to walk from over there to here, for me to get these flapjacks out or whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is stressful, and they do sort of come around. They want to see all the bits where it potentially goes wrong. If you don't tell them that's about to happen, avoidance.
So is there somebody sort of like a producer or something wandering around going, hang on? So there's tears on the way. Yeah. Did you manage not to cry on Bake Off? I can't remember.
I didn't cry on Bake Off, no.
We can make that the mission for the podcast. Have you ever cried on a podcast before?
I was talking to my wife about crying the other day. I haven't cried for a long time, and I think that might be a problem. Yeah.
Well, I don't see it as the podcast's job to unlock it, but we can work.
See what happens.
We can work our way through it if you like. But yeah, so no, but in generally, you know, the Bake Off thing was a positive thing. Nothing too get shirty about that.
Oh, do you know what? It was. Yeah, I like I said to you before we started this. I applied whilst in the fire brigade. I've made some biscuits. It came up. If you want to be on next year's show, whilst we were watching at the fire station, and they went, you should go on that. You made biscuits. So I applied. Absolutely did my application form as a sort of joke. There was a question. This sort of came back not to haunt me. Came back to haunt me in a positive way. On the questionnaire, it was or the application form. It was, what is your ultimate dream in life? Was one of them, and people were writing things like, one day I'd like to work in a French patisserie. I'd like to, you know, work with Michelle Roux. And I put, one day I'd really like to own a dishwasher. Right? Which then, when I finished Bake Off, and that went out, and people really liked that, and the press got hold of it, and it was all very, you know, this bloke's here for a laugh. The first thing I got was a dishwasher.
Nice.
And I wish I then said like a Bentley or something. But yeah, so it was, everything after that was really positive. And loads of stuff, you know, all the social media stuff I did, and the working with brands and travelling, and I was getting I got interviewed on a film premiere next to Joan Collins.
Right.
Which was, do you know what I mean? That is things that would, I said
both
yes.
Wonderful and frightening,
yeah.
I imagine. Yeah.
I said yes to loads of things that sort of came up because I thought, I'm here sort of by mistake. Let's roll it, and it was great.
I think that's the right attitude for it, really. What was the film with Joan Collins?
I can't remember. It was
Can you not even remember what the film was?
No.
But
she was there. She smelt wonderful.
Did she?
Yeah. She got to have a much nicer...
Like a cake?
Yeah. like baked icing.
Yeah. That's a thought. It's probably... Has she got the sort of veneer of baked icing up close? Is she?
I think so. I think
is she fabulous up close? I didn't think I'd be talking about Joan Collins.
No,
anybody else met Joan Collins here?
I didn't meet her. We just stood next to each other.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. It was good. I can't remember what the film was, or... It was drizzling. I remember that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it Leicester Square?
She had someone holding an umbrella for her.
Right.
I didn't.
No, you didn't try and sneak in.
I'm too tall for that.
Oh, that's true.
I got my shoulder under.
Could have crouched down. Oh, well, that's so. Yeah, look, I think that covers the sort of work side of getting shirty.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure. Well, like most things, there's good things and bad things. Like doing your art, I'm sure there's some get shirties around that. But like work. So, what about being at home? So the rest side of things, work. You don't have to, as I say, almost every podcast, you don't have to name names, you don't have to point fingers, but, is there anything about being at home you think, actually, that's the thing when I'm at home?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a 6-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son, so with that obviously comes the usual gripes that any parent would have over just like, I mean, the inability to tidy up anything, but then that's not like every single parent's got that, and everyone's got that, so that's not a thing. My most shirty thing, I think, is probably to do with myself and my inability to sit and do nothing.
Right.
Because I do a lot of things, and I think that's the way I've always been. I think that's the way my brain works, to do loads of things. So I think the fact that because I do so many things, I rarely finish one thing.
Okay.
So that's what really annoys me.
Yeah.
Like, my lack of organisation. This would be like, if there's a theme in my life, it's lack of organisation. Yeah. So I'll go, right, okay, so we're renovating this old house at the moment, so I'll dig up the driveway. And I've dug up like half the driveway. Because then I go, oh no, I've got to go and finish a painting. So I go and do a little bit of work on a painting. I go, someone's bought a painting. I've got to post that. So then so I won't ever finish the drive or the painting or post it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I'll tidy up a bit of a room and then go, and I walk to somewhere else and I go, I'll do the washing up. And the getting shirty is mainly with me. If I've got to name anyone who is annoying.
Yeah. Well, do you know, I'd like to sit here and say I can relate to that. But I mean, really, I finish everything I start. I mean, I really, that is, I can relate to that so much. Yeah.
I think everyone's probably the same, but it's the thing that.
No.
Walking. No, you're not.
No. Oh. Let's have a little yes or a no. Are you a person who can sort of work all the way through something? Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes is. Yes.
Okay, so let's just me then.
So we've got. The one's related to... Right, okay. So we're about half and half, or maybe half and half. Yeah, so I don't know if it is a common thing. I think it's, you know...
It's annoying.
Relatively, yeah, it is really.
Really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I think... I mean, even something... Is that from little things through to the big things as well?
Through everything.
I mean, leaving a driveway halfway through, that does sound
it's very
quite extreme.
It's very tiring, though.
Oh,
so, yeah, I'll do a lot, and I get very tired and go and put a kettle on, and then go in the kitchen and go, oh, I'll tell you what I could do.
Yeah.
Go and do that. So I am... the sort of... The thing that rounds this off and sort of encompasses it all is a while ago, through work, someone spoke to me and said, how old are you when you got diagnosed, or not diagnosed, with ADHD?
Okay.
Right, so I said, I haven't been.
Yeah.
And she went, well, 100% you are. You should go to your doctors. So I went to the doctors, which, again, that was quite a big step. My wife was quite invested. I've made the phone call and gone to the doctors. I said, I need some paperwork to fill in for ADHD. And he gave me that. Yeah. And I brought it home and I put it on the fridge. And then I never filled it in because it was only the last bit, and it was like a tick box thing.
Oh, I've done it. Yeah.
And I was like, I can't. And I look every day. I'd look at it and go, I should do that.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't do it. Yeah. And so I never.
It's still on the fridge.
No, it's gone.
Yeah, that's. I mean.
No, she wouldn't. I don't think she would. She should get me a second copy. Because, but then again, like, you know, after speaking to the doctor, and he went, yeah, I can see that you are, or I don't need to be diagnosed really, because I'm not going to do anything different. Maybe fill the form in. That might have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I suppose sometimes medication can help and all that sort of thing.
Would it make me finish a driveway?
It might help you focus on the driveway, maybe if you say that, you know, maybe if your wife listens to this and hears that it might help you finish the driveway, do you think that might sort of spur you on?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's a thought, isn't it?
I know.
It's a thought. Yeah, so it's really, I mean, we've had all sorts come up on this with regards to sort of home get shirties. Dishwashers, you mentioned dishwasher earlier. Oh. That's come up more than once.
The dream to have a kitchen big enough for a dishwasher now.
Oh, right, okay.
So
you are the dishwasher?
Yeah, very much so. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I think I'm quite, like, good at cleaning. Right. The house is quite clean, bar where the children have been. But, I don't mind that. Sort of cleaning and tidying and scrubbing.
Right.
It's just half a room at a time.
Yeah, half a room, have a cup of tea, move on to a different room.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's funny. Now I was listening to this podcast with Alex Warren whilst cleaning the bathroom.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
There we go. It ties in.
It does. That's sort of like Lion King moments, like the circle of life.
Yeah.
And now you've got to hold Stu up at the top of a rock somewhere. That's not bad. We started like that actually earlier. We didn't do our dirty dancing, mate.
No, that was the plan to come on.
You weren't meant to leave that. You won't know this if you're listening to this at home, but there's a nice big balcony here. If you've ever been to the old auction house where we are now, the suggestion was that Matt threw himself off of that and I caught him like Patrick Swayze. Would you have been here for that? Would you have? Yeah.
So we could do it at the end. Yeah.
Excellent. You did say you were quite light.
I'm up for it. Yeah, I'm pretty light and very agile.
Like a... I couldn't
Twiglet.
Yeah. They're very agile. They're most agile of all the snacks.
Yeah, bloody love a Twiglet.
Yeah. Show of hands, Twiglets, yes.
Oh, well over half.
Yes.
Oh no, not a Twiglet.
But you like Marmite?
I do like Marmite, but not
in stick form.
They look a bit too much like giraffes' legs as well, or something. Yeah. I mean, that is just me, obviously, but. You know.
I don't like Marmite. I like Twiglet.
No. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Show of hands on the Marmite. Right, so a show of hands on someone who likes Twiglets but not Marmite.
Yes.
There you go.
So that's...
Yes.
That's the double. See, that seems count. Yeah. Like Twiglets, not Marmite. Anyway, so there we go. That's the first podcast Marmite Twiglet poll, I think, that's ever been done. We'll post about that later.
Yeah.
So, okay, look. Work. Home.
Yes.
That leaves us, so we've got there's two other rounds that we do. One is play, going out.
Yeah.
So are you someone who goes out, or are you a homebody?
I am. I was thinking about this earlier. Growing up, the idea of my friends being out. Is this tea's coming? This is the best day of my life.
Tea?
Amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the idea of not, like the FOMO.
Yeah.
From sort of 15 onwards,
Okay.
I had to be out every night,
Right.
doing whatever 15-year-olds do in a small town.
Yeah.
Now, the idea of going out,
Yeah.
like this is all right because I've left the house in like daytime hours, essentially.
Right, okay.
But yeah, the idea of going to the pub now,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's got to a certain age. I stopped drinking 3 years ago.
You don't drink anymore,
I don't drink
do you?
anymore. So, yeah, 3 years next month I haven't drunk for.
And does that mean, because I don't drink either, I'm probably about the same sort of time, maybe 2.5 years, something like that.
Yeah.
2 years. But does that put you off going to pubs where people do drink, or do you just...
No, I'd still go out with mates who drink. You do realise that they tell you, like, watching someone get drunk is quite tedious when you're not drinking.
Yeah.
Brilliant when you are drinking.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it. I really enjoy. You know what I mean? I'm not slating going out and getting drunk because that was like my main hobby for a long time.
It's a
I
pretty
bloody
good
loved
hobby,
it. Yeah. And I was quite good at it. Like, you know,
Well
I
done.
wasn't bad. I wasn't like a drunk, you know, like
Yeah.
dreadful pisshead or whatever. But anyway, I decided for whatever reason to stop drinking because drinking didn't help me feel good anymore. Like, you know, genuinely,
exactly the same.
I felt rubbish on drinking.
Yeah.
So now I sort of go out. I'd rather go out for dinner and eat. And that's another thing, right? Going out for dinner is so much better when you're not drinking, I find. So I love going for a curry, but going for a curry previously, Star of Bengal, by the way.
Right.
No, not the Star of Bengal. Where are we now? Bengal Brasserie.
Yeah.
Tunbridge Wells is
That's
the
your
one.
favourite, isn't it?
It's the best one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I'd always go, you'd go to the pub, drink a load of beer, then go to the curry house, drink a load of beer.
Yeah.
The curry was secondary to then leaving to go to the pub and drink more beer. Now, curry's way nicer when you're not full of cobra.
And at about 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's much nicer
That's
at
much
7
better.
o'clock than 11 o'clock after a load of beer.
Yeah, so I go out, we went out on the odd occasion when our kids are looked after by Alex's parents, my wife's parents. We go out for dinner. You'd finish your dinner at like 9 o'clock and just go home. I love it.
Yeah.
Rather than pushing it to stay out as long as you can because you don't want to go home. But then, you know, I suppose that's getting older and potentially wiser.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like for me, the trouble with going out, and this is no reflection on anybody here, obviously I love everybody here, but when you go out, there's other people there.
Yeah.
And I know, but everybody here is lovely. And I like going to events. I like going to like set events where there's things to do. But that's sort of just generally going out where I've got to sort of interact with other people who perhaps I've not chosen to interact with. Then I think, actually, I don't have to do this at home.
Yeah.
And I can just go and get a pack of crisps out of the cupboard and they're free.
Yeah.
You know, which is, you know, quite nice, I think. Yeah.
No, I really enjoy staying in, and we've got quite a nice sort of... we get very, you know, we like put the kids to bed, we watch something, we eat dinner, we watch something on telly.
What's the telly programme of choice at the moment?
At the moment, we started on series 2 of The Responder last night. Have you seen that?
Okay.
The Martin
Is that
Freeman.
The Martin Freeman thing?
Very tense.
Is it? I've done 2 episodes, maybe the last episode, because Sarah was watching it. Do you know what? How's his accent doing?
It's not bad actually. I don't mind him. Yeah, but I mean, ideal is Great Pottery Throwdown.
Right. Okay.
Anyone into that? That is. I bloody love it.
Yeah. Have you ever tried?
I've got a potter's wheel. I bought my son a potter's wheel. Yeah.
So I feel like setting you a challenge now. Could you go on every show that's the Great British something?
Yeah, I mean, Sewing Bee, they do some wonderful stuff, don't they?
They do. Yeah, you could come in
there you
to
go.
the shop.
There we are.
We could train you up for a little bit.
Yeah, here we go.
Send you off.
Bake your pots.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. No, I love it. So
it's pretty good.
What's his name? Keith.
Keith, he likes a cry.
Oh, I
He
love
loves
him.
a cry.
I love him. And I know someone who's worked on that show with him.
Right, okay.
Have you heard about him?
No. Well, oh, really?
No, joking. He's meant to be absolute, like...
I was waiting for the gossip then. Really?
Yeah, I know. He's meant to be absolutely lovely, which is
Oh,
exactly what you want him to be.
Yeah, it is.
And the people I have met him have all said, yeah, he's exactly as he seems.
Do you know what's really lovely actually about that show, and I think it's quite rare, and that's one of the good things about Bake Off as well, is it's quite rare for a programme to be unashamedly positive.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he is, you know, him crying about, you know, how beautiful a pot is and how hard someone's worked even though it hasn't worked out. You know, he's got a genuine emotion for that, and that's really rare, and I think it's quite important for, well, I think about it with my kids, hello kids, that they should see people crying when they're, you know, grown-ups crying. They should see people appreciating something and showing their emotion in that, and I think those sorts of programmes do that really well.
It is. I love it, and sort of going back on that a little bit, mentioning the Bake Off, after you said about was it a positive experience, after being on it, for a while, like, I'd get recognised in loads of places. You'd be stood in Morrison's and people would be like talking about you as if you're on the telly, and that's that bloke off the Bake Off, he's tall, isn't he? Yeah. And you're sort of going, you're right, I'm here, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Or they're just taking photos of you. Because I think when it finished, my series, not my series, the series I was on, it was like 14.5 million people watched the final, which was the biggest thing. It was massive. But going back to the positive thing, everyone I met in the street and out at the pub and all that stuff, everyone was nice because it's a positive programme.
Show,
It's not like you're on, I don't know, Big Brother where there's a baddie or The Apprentice or whatever those sort of programmes are where they set people up to be
the villain.
That person's got that streak, and they're picked for those things. I mean, and that's what makes the programme. Like The Apprentice, someone with a vicious streak and they'll stab you in the back because they want to get on in business. In Bake Off, you know, everyone's trying to help each other and everyone's trying to, you know, pull each other along. And similarly in Pottery Throwdown, you know, I'll quickly run your stuff over there for you, and it is really nice, and it's positive telly is good.
Yeah. So how many pots have you thrown?
I bought it for my son.
Right, okay.
Because he's got into it, and I've got a studio to do art in, and I thought, I don't know, that'd be a really good Christmas present, and actually it's really messy.
Right.
And the clay I bought's not great, and he's all right. He's made a few bits. I haven't really done anything because I can't. I'll get a bit sort of too messy. But I think I should.
I thought you were about to say it was like the exercise bike of the craft world, where it's just actually got clothes thrown over the top of it, waiting to be used. It does
get used. Yeah,
Right, okay.
He's not bad. Yeah, but I just really like the fact that he's got it. Yeah, he's into something and he's doing stuff with his hands. I like it.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's one of those things, isn't it, where you know, it's very easy these days with phones, computer games, and all of that to sort of get locked into that world. So anything that's positive.
I'm all for it.
So did we actually get Shirty there for the going out?
Going out, people organising it, and then I tell you what, this will sum it up. So I think out of my group of friends, which is still the same sort of group of friends I had when I was at school, I'm probably the best person at trying to get people organised, which will surprise anyone who knows my organisational, like trying to organise this. I'm dreadful at reply. So I'll put out a message.
I wouldn't say dreadful.
Well. I'll put out a message.
I think it was stronger than that. No, it wasn't.
To everyone going, who wants to go out for whatever, a curry on this date? And people will say yes. They'll reply, but once I've sent that message out, my brain's gone, I've done all I need to do. So people are going, what time? And I'm like, oh my God, have I got to do what? So that's what gets me shirty, having to reply to that message. It's the same at work. So a message would go out and go, who, whatever. And if I do my one reply or my message going out, people go, he's never replied, he's never responded to me.
Yeah.
It's because my brain's gone, I've done it, I've done the bit I needed to do.
Yeah. See, with me as well, if the message is slightly too long that someone sends me, that's it.
Can't read it.
I'll shut off.
Yeah.
It's just done.
Yeah, absolutely.
It might as well not really have been written, because I go, I'll read that later, and then it's gone.
Yeah, I am 100% the same. Yeah. So yeah, I
The
think
thought of doing it is as well that I've thought about replying. That means I have replied.
I'll do it to mates, and I go, oh, do you know what? I haven't spoken to that person for 2 months. I should really reach out and be a good friend. And I go, how you doing? Everything all right? And I go, yeah. What are you up to? Oh my God, how we entered into this chat? I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you. I mean, I might just do like a template. Just let you know I'm thinking about you. I hope everything's all right. Don't respond. Yeah.
I don't want a conversation.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm pleased that we've driven you to come on a podcast. At least if it was like some sort of blog that we had to back and forth, that just wouldn't happen.
It would be awful.
It wouldn't happen. Well, thankfully, we're not making you do that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so look, work, rest, play, going out. We've completed the Mars bar, trifecta. That's what I like to... I mean... I don't know why we call that. So now we have the off-the-cuff section.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what? Oh, I thought you said, hang on. So the off-the-cuff section. So I don't know if you've listened to the podcast before or been on the podcast before. We do the off-the-cuff section, which was good because it was a pun, because it's Get Shirty, off the cuff. So we decided to do, so what it is you're going to pick something that you then have to think of a Get Shirty for.
Okay.
Spontaneously, off the cuff, ha. But then we didn't really think about how to deliver that, and I've explained this every podcast, and now I have to explain it every podcast. We didn't think how we were going to deliver that, so what we did is we got a bowler hat.
I like it.
Which is not shirt related at all. So now it's become off the cuff from the hat. Which stops it working. Now, when Adam Buxton was on, he suggested that we pinned these little bits of paper to the cuff of a shirt.
Nice.
Now, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what's the point of it making sense when you can then talk about it being off the cuff out of the hat? So we now... I mean, that's a long explanation. We now flatly refuse to do anything but the hat.
But the hat.
So
I like it.
That was a long-winded explanation that wasn't required if anybody's listened to this podcast before. But for those of us in the room...
You could have done it, you could call it off the top of your head, because that's sort of like the hat and then the...
Yeah.
But I like the cuff bit. Yeah.
Well, the cuff works. I mean, the Alex Horn came up with loads of shirts.
He's way funnier than me.
Yeah, no, look, you're doing all right, but yeah, he was like, you could something or other collared, and you could.
I was thinking collared, bloody hell.
And you could be buttoned up and all this sort of stuff. And we was going, they're all great, but we're sticking with the hat.
Yeah, I like that.
We're not moving away from the hat. So here we go.
I'm on it.
Ready?
Do I shut my eyes or just?
I don't know. You do whatever you like. This is free form.
Got it. I've got one.
Here we go. I'm liking the music. Very good.
Okay. Do I read it out?
Read it out.
History. All right.
So, yeah, we won't put it back in.
Okay.
Can't repeat them. So, what is your off the cuff from the hat?
About history. God, I mean, there's a lot to choose from, isn't there?
Yeah, but you could look at
everything that's ever happened.
You could look at history lessons.
Okay.
You could look at recent history, internet history. Let's not go there. We could look at... sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. Well, that was a private conversation we had earlier, Matt. I do apologise. Or the whole of history. Is there a moment in history which is like, that's the thing in history that's made me the most shirty?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Henry VIII, am I right?
God, he was a bugger, wasn't he? That is... right.
You take it any way you like, Yeah. History. It's your brief. You go for it.
Like the, got the A303 that goes past Stonehenge.
Yes.
That's annoying, isn't it?
That is annoying.
That is annoying, and they are there purely for history, aren't they? They're looking at Stonehenge, which I'm into. I do. Yeah. I like Stonehenge as
history,
historical monument.
Yeah.
Could have put a bigger road next to it. That I don't know why Stonehenge came to my mind.
Yeah. Well, it's as history goes. It's,
and I imagine.
Right up there.
I'll tell you what then. So
it's what the Druids would have wanted. Though,
yeah. Leading on from that, I think if you're going to go to historical places that are like Stonehenge or the pyramids, I imagine I haven't been to the pyramids.
No, me. Anybody been to the pyramids?
My wife has.
Oh, rude.
And I think it's really pre me when she could go to places that were nice.
Well, can she not now because of you?
Because of me,
we
yeah.
can't take you there.
Yeah. I think, that sort of thing of going to like the pyramids and it just being what you see in a photo isn't what is actually there, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what is actually there. It's not like made up, but the actual state of it. It's the same, I think, with Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal, that's notoriously
because
that one view is the only sort of nice view. Looking at anybody been at the Taj Mahal?
There we
Can
go.
you confirm the view is only nice, sort of?
No, it's fabulous.
What? But going the other way?
I went round there several times.
Oh, is it? I always thought like the other way. It was a bit sort of all not sort of.
They were all looking at Diana. I managed.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're at the same time then. Very nice too. Okay, so not like that. That is all beautiful, is it? Taj Mahal. Oh, right, okay. I was imagining you with that Diana fringe for that reason. Yeah, but so historical places that don't look like they do on their postcard. Is that the Get Shirty?
Yeah, probably. That would annoy me. I mean, I haven't been to any, so that's not ideal.
What would you say? Well, obviously Stonehenge. You've been past that.
Yeah, I've been.
Did you,
past
like me,
Stonehenge.
go to Glastonbury to the festival and sort of wake up, or were woken up just as you were going past it, so you saw it briefly out of the rear view window?
I've been a couple of times recently to Cornwall,
right,
and accidentally driven that way. It took us 11 hours last time.
I was going to say, is that on the way?
On the way
not
back.
Even accidentally.
Yeah, no. So that was I mean, that's not very historically based. Like for me to get the ump, it took me 11 hours to get back from holiday.
That is quite a gift.
But I drove past Stonehenge as part of that journey.
Right. And you can't even really pull over.
Can't do anything. It's rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like it. It looks good.
It's not impressive from the road.
Not great. I mean, as someone who is currently digging up a driveway with big lumps of rock, I imagine it was hard to build.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You could do a Spinal Tap
I'd love
miniature
that.
version from the stones from your drive.
I could, yeah. I could do many.
Yeah, you could. And I would be there for that.
Would you?
Yeah,
okay.
I'd actually help you do that.
I'm up for it.
If you want to do that. So, yeah, check back with when we deliver, we could do it when we deliver your shirt, actually, couldn't we?
Build some...
Yeah, build a little Stonehenge in your shirt. I don't know where I'm going with that.
I'm trying to think
Stu, that's one of those bits to cut out. Right there, thanks.
I'm trying to think of more historical things that were annoying,
Anybody shout out any suggestions on historical things that might be quite annoying in a way that you're quite quiet? Anything?
I'll tell you what does.
He's
I've
helped
thought of
you
something,
out.
and it's gone a little bit left field actually.
Okay.
Are you aware of the programme Fake or Fortune with Fiona Bruce?
I've heard of it, not watched it. There's a
I-
few nods. Yeah.
I recommend
you can
it.
go yes because nods we can't hear nods. There we go. Thank you.
It is a good programme, isn't it? I'd say it's up there. I mean, I'm getting into this, but I often watch that in the bath, right? I put the iPad up, I watch a Fake or Fortune, and what they do is someone will go, I found this Rembrandt in my nan's loft.
Yeah.
Is it a real Rembrandt? And then they take it back and they do all the historical checks on it, and they go, we've taken fragments of this paint and we've done the paper samples, and then there's a big reveal at the end, and the Rembrandt, I don't know, whoever the people who look after Rembrandt stuff go yes or no.
Yeah.
That gives me the ump. Well, sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. But when they say no and they're refusing to open their books again because they're stuffy old historians,
Right.
and they're going, it clearly is, but they refuse, don't they? They do that a lot, and they go, no, we are not prepared to accept it at this time.
Oh, okay.
Because we said no before, and we cannot say yes now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's they're enacting I don't want to look like an idiot clause.
That is, I know that is a very niche historical thing. And Fiona Bruce is in it, who is wonderful, by the way.
It's not Fiona Bruce going, no, I'm not. I won't take that.
No, she's championing for the underdog.
Yeah. Okay.
But
do you know that as a historical Get Shirty, that's not bad.
Is it
I don't think I could have taken that.
No.
I don't think I could have taken it. How are we doing for time? Oh, sorry, she's got a question.
What's up?
Well, so are they saying it is a Rembrandt, but because we said it isn't, we're going to say it's not?
Yeah, they sort of go. They often say at this time we're not going to accept. Sometimes they go I mean, not all Rembrandts. Obviously, there's all sorts of different ones. But they go right back and they go. It's all about the provenance. They go, you can't prove the provenance of this particular piece, and then they poo-poo it and they go, it's probably worth. And then one.
Go on, get big about it. I'm enjoying it.
One they destroyed. They went,
Really?
we believe this is a fake and we have destroyed it. This
No.
woman spent £65,000 buying it at an auction or whatever. We don't believe it, we've destroyed it for you. Gasps.
Whoa.
Everyone.
That's above irked.
Yeah,
I'm taking that
Yeah.
well
But
above.
they're-
That's like Tetchy.
Yeah, that's Tetchy plus.
But they're filmed with their reaction of Fiona's
Oh,
there and the
Yeah.
guy Charles who also does it, and they go, how do you feel now that you know that this piece of paper is worth £450,000? And they go, oh, nothing, it won't change me. I'll keep it. Or they go, by the way, they've destroyed your Picasso.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not what you want, is it?
It's good telly.
Yeah, it is good telly. I don't know why, it reminded me of a particular Grand Designs,
Oh, yeah.
where right at the end, it was somebody, they built a house in their back garden for somebody else and it hadn't gone quite right. And Kevin just out and out just called them out on it, not even in a pleasant way.
Yeah.
Excuse my French, he basically went, really, you fucked up, haven't you? And
Yeah.
they were like sort of properly in tears and
Oh, really?
that was a bit, you didn't sugarcoat that at all,
Yeah.
like at all. Oh, I'd be there for Fiona Bruce being a bit like that.
Yeah,
as
watch
well.
it.
All
Yeah.
right, that's
There's
the
about 6
recommendation.
series. It's good.
All right, oh, good. Okay, well, look, so, how are we doing? Yeah, we're good, okay. So, that is the end of this section of the Get Shirty Podcast. Now, because it's Get Shirty Podcast Live, hooray! I hear you all saying. We yes. So, actually, let's have a little round of applause for that, for Matt.
Thank you.
For that, well done. But what we've decided to do is do a little Q&A, because we don't ever have an audience. Usually, Stu jumps up and at the end will go, oh, actually, like you just did, can you clarify this point?
Sounds like I'm a judge or something.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Magistrate.
I thought you were a magistrate. No, but what I mean is, well, like for instance, Phil, we had to clarify that. Listen to that one, I won't go into that here. We never have an audience to do a Q&A. So has anybody got a question? Because Sam she's coming out. Oh, look, you're going to get the mic. Look, Q&A. Please state your name and your profession.
What's your name and where you're from?
Yeah, what's your name?
Hello, it's Gary James and ex-guest on the programme. Matt, thank you. Matt, you mentioned earlier on that, of course, Bake Off is a real feel-good programme, isn't it? I mean, you said it was like at the positive end of television and everybody feels good in it. Now, if you got the opportunity to go on to Celebrity Traitors, would you want to be a traitor or a faithful? And why?
Okay, great question. I haven't seen that. Although I am, I do know. My wife watched it. So in our evenings where we split and she goes off to watch whatever she wants to watch. That was yeah. So that was what she was watching. So it's Claudia, isn't it? Claudia. Yeah, who does it? So I don't think I'm not. I don't think I'll be very good at pretending to be something I'm not.
Any impression of Claudia?
Yeah, it was Claudia.
Yeah, I thought you were going, I can't see the audience.
We do like there was a game we used to play with my wife's family. They've got a big family. They play lots of games. And there was one where you had to pretend, do you know when it looks like you mafia or something, you kill someone, everyone shuts their eyes and you've got to pretend, you've got to blag your way out of it. I get very stressed in that situation. So if there's a thing where you've got to pretend to be a baddie or a goodie, I'd go for a goodie because I wouldn't like it.
So,
Is that the right?
so you'd be a goodie?
Yeah. Is there goodies and baddies? Is that the?
Well, I think I'll be honest, I haven't seen it either, but
No.
I think it just is. What is it? One baddie, one traitor, or lots of traitors?
Usually three.
Oh, is it? Oh.
I'll be a non-traitor.
Yeah. A
Claudia
non-traitor.
comes behind you and puts her hand.
Oh, do you not? You don't get to choose. Oh
Oh, do
shit.
they allocate?
Yes.
Right, okay.
And then you've got to act accordingly.
On the hat. Oh, a little tap on the shoulder, is it?
Uh-oh. That's what she does. She's got a cape, hasn't she? I've seen that.
Jeff,
I loved Jeff Capes as a kid.
if she walked in with Jeff Capes on it, I don't know where I'm going with
No,
that.
I don't. I'm there for it.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I,
state your name.
I'm Mabel, your daughter.
Yeah, well, I know.
You're my daughter. Oh my God!
I'm sure you didn't really look like
What a time to announce it.
We're all a bit squiggly.
I've heard rumours that on Bake Off, Mel and Sue, if someone was proper crying, they'd stand next to them and like shout swears in unairable language. Have you ever seen that? Did you see that happen ever? Do you know if it's true?
I would believe that. Yeah, I think they do that. It didn't happen on my series, but they're quite protective, I think, of stuff not being filmed that you don't want to go out. Yeah. So yeah, I think that is the case. Yeah, they would do that. Yeah.
So they are quite protective.
They're really lovely, like genuinely really lovely.
Right.
Yeah.
And is there anybody from Bake Off that you are still in contact with?
Yeah, so Nadia.
Right.
I mean, what's she done since?
Oh, nothing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she won the program and then disappeared.
Disappeared into
Yeah. Yeah. And
so
I
yeah.
expect Paul's always taking you out on the back of his motorbike.
On the back of his, yeah.
Clinging on.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So no,
well, your head would be a sort of above his, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah.
But no, Nadia, I speak to Flora. Yeah, quite a few of them.
Right.
There was a time where we all sort of got together a bit after the show, and a lot of other series do, but we were like Scotland, Wales, like it was really spread out. But I still see other.
Yeah, because you did
Bake
the
Off.
marathon, didn't you? With,
So I've done that.
You.
So for Great Ormond Street, organised it because straight after Great Ormond Street, like you get contacted by a lot of charities, like post Bake Off, and Great Ormond Street's one that they've sort of worked with, so you get steered towards that. And yeah, I do the Baker's Dozen, which is 13 bakers from different series, and those guys I speak to a lot, and a bunch of them. So not like the whole sort of Bake Off family as a whole, I guess, as opposed to just people from my year.
Well, because although it's, it feels like a lot of people, it's really a very small amount of people when you consider it.
Yeah.
You've all gone through that shared experience, so it's quite a special thing.
And it is, the people who... So there was Richard, who was in a year before me, had the pencil behind his ear.
Yeah.
I speak... So Richard Byrne, his wife, and... Is that me feeding back in your ear now? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So I speak to those guys quite a lot, and after we do when we do the marathon, there's loads of sort of fundraising stuff we do together.
Perfect.
Yeah, Ian from my year, I say I speak to him a lot. I don't speak to anyone a lot really. But,
Well, you send them one message.
I'll send them
and
a
then say,
message,
don't reply,
and it's got the audacity to reply.
Yeah, how dare they? All right, I think we had another question as well.
Hello, I'm Anne. Another Bake Off question. So I'm quite tempted to apply for Bake Off even.
Do it.
But I have a question that, would decide whether I might or not. So do you get in advance told all the bakes for all the weeks so that you can plan for every week well ahead? And if so, do you plan thoroughly and know exactly what you're doing all the way? So
you do. You get... I think it was like the first 5 or 6 episodes you got given right at the beginning. So that is the... What is it? The... I should know the names of what they're called, the bakes, shouldn't I? So you got your own... Signature, thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
And technical. So you don't get told the technical one, the one you flip over, but the other two... Showstopper, yeah. Signature and Showstopper. Thanks.
That's all right.
So yeah, you do get told those.
And you were Series 6, went out 7th. I've done my research.
Bloody hell, thank you. So yeah, you do get told those, and I think you then got... Actually, I think you might have almost got the whole series up to like 10 episodes or something. So you can practice as much as you like. I practiced for like the first 3 episodes, because I thought, there's no way I'm going to get beyond 3. And you have to write them. So they'll go, this week you have got I know, Black Forest Gatto and some biscuits, or the biscuits that I think ours was biscuits that have got to fit in its own tin that you make, and a Black Forest Gatto. So we need the ingredients for those things. So you make those, and you go, actually, I want this, and I want this kind of sugar, I want that kind of flour, I need this. You can really stipulate like down to exactly what you want. I need this, this, and this, and then they get that for you, and then you are free to practice that as much as your heart desires, or, in my case, try it once, go, that's probably all right, and then give it a go on the show. And then you end up baking your ice in and, it all goes wrong. But I remember, so going back to Nadia, I remember one thing she baked, she'd practiced 11 times before she'd gone on. But I'm not someone who does that. But that's purely on me. So yeah, you absolutely can, yeah.
I think you do it 11 times.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, I did a few. I remember the cheesecake. I did a 3-tier cheesecake. They all had to stack on top of each other. And they were, like I say, it had to be, like the bottom one was massive. And then obviously getting smaller and smaller. But the cost it made to make 3 cheese. So I was making those and then taking them to the fire station. And it went into the cookbook. It went into the Great British Bake Off cookbook. And I think it said it's something like feeds 36. So that became then a challenge of how, so the 6 blokes at 5, we've got to eat them all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was baking, that was pre-kid, so I baked stuff, take it to the fire station, everyone got horrendously overweight and sick, and yeah.
Now hates cheesecake.
Yeah, I mean, they did well for a while.
Did they?
Yeah. They did all right.
And is it a bit like that with the crew, where the crew like, right, I'm having a slice of that. They all sort of pile in and...
So I don't think I really ate anyone else's bakes.
Oh, really?
In so much as because, I don't know, like by the time you've done it and you're sort of like sick of them like making, like if you're baking all day. I remember Ian would go round and would try everyone's afterwards. Obviously not whilst he's still on this, they're judging it, diving in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the crew, I don't know, I didn't get much of it.
Right.
But then I think when you stood in the kitchen all day, I was just drunk on tea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, that's fair enough.
But no, you can. Yeah, so you can practice.
Oh, great.
Do it, apply, go for it. And if you need someone to test your cakes...
Yeah, we'll do that. Any other questions? Oh, look, another question.
Hello, my name's Harry. I produce all the music for the podcast. Just saying. I thought no one will react to that. This is actually for Stu and the podcast generally.
Oh, okay.
So you've done a whole season now.
Yes.
Do you get nervous interviewing all these awesome guests? And did the nerves go up for the live podcast, or do you just go flow state and you know what you're doing?
So do I get nervous in general? Was the first part of that, was it?
Do you get nervous interviewing?
Yeah. Do you know? Yes, I do, and it definitely went up for this, and that's why at the start I was thinking we might have to re-record the bit I said at the start, Stu, because I sort of got a little bit in my own head and went. I know look, I've got notes. Look, and they're all broken down into little bullet points so I could stick with it. And I thought, I don't need them. It's the story of my life, that is. And I should have stuck to them. So, yeah, I definitely did get more nervous just because it's a different thing. It's a different thing and, and it's funny actually, as soon as you asked your question, Gary, I thought, well, look, spot somebody who used to interview people for a living, which is, and so it is a thing. You think, oh God, am I going to say something stupid? Am I going to say something that makes me look like an idiot that then Stu very helpfully cuts out? So, yes. Am I going to get the support from my co-workers? No. But yeah, so there's definitely, yes, it does go up, and I was a bit sort of nervous before this, and plus you don't meet the person who you're going to speak to, and you hope you're going to get on, and and of course I've seen you on the telly, I've looked at your art, I follow you on Instagram, and you think, I hope I don't I'll say it as it is, I hope I don't make myself look like a dick in front of this person. But and sometimes perhaps you do, and like with certain guests that if you've sort of watched them on telly for a long time, or like with, say, Adam Buxton, and I listen to his podcast a lot, all the time, listen to every one, suddenly you go, oh crap, they've done this a lot. By the time Adam had been on, we'd recorded 3, I think. 3 podcasts, and I thought...
He's a podcast man, isn't he?
He's the podcast man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's going to turn up and I'm going to go, I'm not going to know what to say. But, you know, actually it was all right. But you sort of have to get over that sort of itchy feeling in your stomach a little bit. Some of that's good, though, I think, actually. It's just sort of same with gigging in a band. You go, oh, crap, this is going to be difficult and hard. And then it's all right. So sort of taking that step, I suppose. So yes, 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 and yes. I think, was that enough yeses? Did I count there? Enough yeses. So, any more questions?
Hello,
Hello.
Megan here.
Hello, Megan.
This is sort of off topic a bit from what we've been talking about, but you mentioned, you know, perhaps you got annoyed by monuments or places of interest not looking how you wanted them to or as nice as the pictures. But what's somewhere, you said you hadn't been with your wife to the pyramids, what's somewhere that you would like to go visit to really hope it looks like the pictures? Like, what's your dream location to go and see for yourself to see that sort of view of it?
So thank you for that question. So my wife has travelled a lot, and I have travelled not a lot. So if I've got to go with my wife, like the places she loves Japan.
All right.
That looks well busy.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Great tea, yeah. So we go to places,
Tea shops.
tea shops, like, I don't know, the places that I would like to go are probably not the places necessarily that she would like to go. So if I then went to see what I wanted to see, she'd be going, oh, didn't want to come here. Can we not go to Japan? So if it's my choice, where would I like to go? Somewhere I do like hot places. So I like to go. I lived in Australia for a while. I like that. I'd like to go to Australia with my wife, but also a lot of her family live in New Zealand. So I'd like to go to New Zealand with her.
Would you go to the Hobbiton?
Well, this is where it gets interesting.
Right.
Potentially.
No.
So her uncle
Right.
does all those films with Peter Jackson.
Right.
Works with Peter Jackson, and has done for all of Peter Jackson's films.
Right.
So yeah, I could fully go to that sort of place. It's like he knows. Yeah, he does all that. He does all that film stuff. You know, all of the films. All of those films. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to go to New Zealand, but is there a monument in New Zealand particularly? Somewhere just relaxed. I don't know, and this is going to be a weird statement. I don't know what it is I like. Really, I don't really like. We go on a holiday. My wife loves her favourite thing is holidays. I don't know if I really like beach holidays. I don't like sand. I find it quite annoying, but I do like surfing. I don't really like massive towns, but I do like having a wander around. I don't know. do you know? Yeah. So I don't know if there's somewhere I'd love to go. Yeah. Is there somewhere I'd go that's beautiful and then go home at night? Yeah, that's ideal. Arundel.
Sounds like, yeah. Do you know?
High Brooms. It's bloody nice.
We all love a bit of High Brooms.
Yeah.
High Brooms, Southborough. I'm a fan of a castle.
Are you?
I like a castle, yeah. I like the thought of standing somewhere and going, somebody with a sword stood here hundreds of years ago. And, probably died or made a podcast. I'm sure they did podcasts back then. So
I don't know if I'm into a castle, really.
But yeah, so Arundel or somewhere nice and then go home.
Go home.
Yeah. Well, a bit like tonight, actually.
Yes.
Good, bring somewhere nice. And then are there any other questions? Oh, well, we have one more question. Look. Go for it.
It's Mabel again. Hello. We've not actually spoken much about your art at all and what you do with that and like why you started doing it in the first place. So, what's your process? Why did you do it?
Thank you very much. So, I was always really into art. I got into art college when I was however old you are when you go to art college. I then didn't go to art college because I spoke to my mate Lee, who was waiting outside for me. He waited outside when I did my interview, and I went, "Are you going to go to college?" He went, "Nah." I said, "No, I won't bother then." And that was genuinely the process. I got in, and then I got offered a place the following year, and I said, "Are you going to do anything?" He went, "Nah." I said, "No, I won't either then." And but I always painted, and I lived in London before kids. I painted every day, and I'd put my paintings outside of my flat in Angel for people to have. because I did it purely because I wanted to paint, not because I did it because the process of painting. And in the last sort of couple of houses I lived in, I draw because I didn't have anywhere to paint. I didn't have any room. I mean, it's really annoying. If you can do anything of any size, you've got to put all your paints away and get all your stuff out and then put it all away. But now we live in a house we bought an old house, and it's had loads of sort of workshops in the garden, and one of those workshops is now my art studio, where I can have everything I want, although my kids still come and like take all my stuff. But I know where I've got paints, I've got pencils, I've got, you know, all the things I need. So the style of it really, I was really into pop art and Andy Warhol and Keith Haring, and I loved Keith Haring's sort of the simplicity of it and the bold flat colours of like Andy Warhol and that sort of Roy Lichtenstein printmaking. I'm doing a lot of arm movements whilst I talk about this. And that's what I did. So when I was at college or when I was at school, I got taken by a teacher to Art in the 20th Century exhibition at the Tate, and it was the first time I'd seen big paintings, and I think it was like 15, and I saw big paintings the first time with flat colour, and I was like, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I do it now, and I'm quite lucky that I've got a following on social media who do it, and I do little shows. I've got a show, there's a show in London this evening, which is going on for next week, and I've got a show or a fair in London on Saturday, and I love making art, and I would do it just for the process of it, but I'm now lucky that people want to buy it, and it sells quite well, and it's going really well, and I love it. And the fact that I can go to the studio with a cup of tea, put the radio on, Radio 6 on, and just paint on my own that's genuinely what I feel. If I've achieved anything, I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I love it. I really love it, and it's great. And now we're now working with a local printer who understands the same sort of stuff I want to do, and he, you know, I can go in there and print with him all day, or them all day, and I love it. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. What a great answer to a great question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think on that superb answer, we'll wrap it up and say, please put your hands together for Matt Riley, and thank you so much for being a guest on the Get Shirty Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Our first ever live podcast guest. So put your hands together, please. Everyone. And thank you also for coming along, everybody who did come along. What a fantastic evening it's been. Thank you ever so much. Good night.
Wow, how fantastic was that? We loved recording in front of a live audience. It was something different for us and something that we'll definitely do again. Such a great experience, and it really sort of changes your approach to it. So enjoyed it so much. So thank you to everybody who came along and bought a ticket. Thank you also to Matt for being such a great guest, really entertaining, great to speak to him. I hope we get to speak to him again, actually. Do check out his art on Instagram. It's slightly different to his main Instagram. We'll put links up in the description. Yeah, really great to chat with Matt. Thanks as always to Stu for editing and producing the podcast, to Sam as always for keeping us on track. Great to have Dat Hazard in the room with us as well, who provides all the music. Just a really wonderful event. Really enjoyed it. Until we speak again, do try not to get too shirty. Get shirty. Let's get shirty.